Okay, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. I just thought I'd give it half an hour on these dials really. We're absolutely chock-a-block at the moment, so it's really difficult, and being honest with you, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this new camera of mine, which I might go into one day. I might start doing reviews on some of these cameras now and again. You know, the things that people say when they review it, not on necessarily YouTube but on the internet, where they review them and say there's this, that. They always make out a problem with the camera is a good thing. I don't think so somehow. Anyway, getting back to where we were, what I'm going to do with these, I do, as I've said in a previous video, favour wire wool. Reason being, I mean, the wet and dry situation is okay, but I find it leaves little tiny scratchy little nicks, if you like, because of it's like a Velcro, isn't it? It's like a hook type, you know, the sand in it. So I always favour wire wool. Now I've had good results with the back plate, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use wire wool, and I'm going to see how that works on these. I'm pretty certain we'll be able to do it with this dial, because there's pretty much no silvering left on it anyway. So I mean, it's a matter of just getting it where it is. Now, as you can see with this, I've put gloves on. The reason being, obviously, as you probably already well know, is that obviously you don't want to be getting, you know, the sort of grease off your fingers onto the dial, because it will show through. And so that it's always a good idea to wear gloves. I've also got one of these blowers. Now, rather than blow with your breath on things, you know, go and blow it off like that as you go around. So I'm going to start off with a sort of medium wire wool, and I'm going to just go round in circles and see what we can do. Now, remember what I was saying to you before about a bad spot? Now I'm wondering if this camera can actually come in on that. Now I'm going to start there, and I'm going to see what I can do there. And being honest with you, just as a thought, you know, it's coming off no problem. I mean, if you can't obviously do it with wire wool, you've got to obviously do it with wet and dry, and that's where you'd be. You'd do it with wet and dry, and you'd go round like that, doing exactly the same process with wet and dry. You'd have a bowl and you'd go round with your wet and dry, and you'd do it that way, and then eventually you get down to where you need it to be. So really it's a process of finding your bad areas and going round them. I mean, I always go round in a you know, round with the dial. I'm going to see what I can do here. I mean, another thing, talking about lacquering the dials after we've finished them. I at one time used to have, you know, like a cake, you know, like a cake decoration table, you know, where they spin round, and I'd just have the dial on top of that, and I'd just turn it round as it, you know, so I could just go round in an even circle like that. I'd start from the outer edge, and I'd come in like that, and it used to get a nice even finish. But since the workshops have been changed around, I mean, I think it's long gone now. But yeah, I think, being honest, I don't think the wire wool's going to be enough with this style, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because we've only got 30 minutes on these on these cameras, I'm going to put that aside there, and what I'm going to do, because obviously I'm going to do all these, I'm going to show you the stuff that you need to use. Now I myself will start off at between 400 and 600, and I'll use it that way. Hope I've got some. We've got some 8, so I might start with that, because again, as I say, I don't think this style's particularly bad. So what I'll do is I'll put this into a couple of halves and I'll see what we get. The water, using water does help, you know, stop the scratches, being honest. But there's a piece of 600 there. So what I'll do is I'll probably do 600, 800, and then I might go probably down to 1,000 or something like that. And I'll do it with that, and then I'll finish it off with the wire wool just to remove any more scratches. So I'm going to stop the video here now, and I'm going to go and get me water and that, and then I'm going to go from there then, and then I'll start the video up again. We've done about 6 minutes now, so I'll start the video up again. So if you give us, I'll be back in just a tick. Okay, I'm back again. Right, I'm just going to start off with, as I say, 600. Now obviously the dial's in water now, so again we're just going to go round with the dial, and we're going to sand off whatever's on it. Now, talking about elephant wax, now this doesn't seem too bad, but obviously sometimes if you need to put your elephant wax in, you're probably going to have to do that and then do all this. It's probably better to do that. That's the way it used to be done. I'm just going round now. I'm being honest with you, it's taking it off quite a bit. I think I mentioned in my last video about the cream of tartar. What I'm going to do, because I mean I spoke to someone and they said this is what they do. I bought some cream of tartar off Amazon. Now obviously you get it in the tubs, and it's really expensive, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give it a try. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, that'll be great. I mean, sometimes you've just got to give things a try. But yeah, that doesn't seem. This seems to be coming off quite nicely now. Just, you know, go round, don't go across ways, just go all the way round. Now obviously I'm not going to do the silvering on this particular video, because I want to try and, you know, do them all together, if you like. So as I say to them, trying to give as much information as possible, because, you know, you like to see the full process, don't you? I mean, you know, you don't want to see, you know, oh yeah, there you go. I mean, I've seen absolutely tons of stuff like that. There you go, that's it, there's the finished product. I mean, with this at least, you know, you'll be able to pretty much do what you need to do. There's been some well, no, they've tried everything to clean this style in its time, I think. I mean, I don't know, there just seems to be surprises everywhere. As you can see, it's starting to look okay. I wonder would it be better with, you know, the lights out, I wonder. No good. Anyway, So I think it's just a matter of going round all the time and looking at the dial, and you know, checking stuff out. I mean, not very often you have to use elephant wax, really. Not very often do you have to, you know, get the numerals in or anything like that. So do it in sections, all round. There's that there, and I'm gonna go to a bit of 800 now. It's just a matter of going round. What we'll do is we'll lift the camera up just a touch. As you know, I just do these videos on the fly. I mean, I'm no cameraman. I mean, it does help if you have good cameras sometimes. Like, by the way, not these ones that they sell you and tell you that they're the top camera in the world and they're great at doing this, and then you don't do anything at all like that. Won't always sleep at the night. So yeah, you just keep going around like that, and then paying attention to the scratches that you see, you know, and try and get them out, try and get it as neat as you can. I mean, it probably won't really show up in thing, but I like to try and get the best I can. I don't like to sort of say, oh, that'll do. I mean, I try to get it the very best I can. That's looking okay. That's not looking bad now. Quite bright in here. I'll get set up one day. Okay, so now I've got some there's 800 there. Thought I had some 1,000, 600, 800, 800. I'll just see what else I've got. Okay, put some 1,000 there. I buy this stuff on eBay. You get it in packs, wet and dry, and it got like, I think, up to 2,500. And the other thing I'll point out, you know what you're doing, like with the sandpaper wise, and you're going to do all the other dials, keep it to all the same format. So, you know, all, you know, if you're using, you know, 800, use 800. If you know the situation, do that. Just keep it going like that. Now, I'm just going to go around. As I say, I try to keep it, you know, with the dial as much as I can. I don't, if you go across ways, that, you know, you definitely will get scratches. Just nick one there, but you know, you can get them out. Now, remember when you dry with an hairdryer, I mean, I always give them a blast over with the hairdryer, dry them with the paper towels, and then I dry them with the hairdryer. Now, the reasoning for that, obviously, you know, to make sure they're dry. But you know, go light with that, because remember, you're dealing with wax. So you know, the last thing you want is you know, the wax to melt, isn't it? I mean, that's looking really good now. I'm really happy with that. Just on the inside, just on the edge. And Remember, there's a lot of dirt on this. You don't want it to go into your silver in that when you do it. Right around the edge, like that. Go around one more time. Right, and as you can see, that's pretty decent. I'm just going to put our water out the way, and I'm going to just one more time round. Just keep it neat. Anywhere you see scratches, just give them a bit of a thing anyway. Right, dry it. Dry it thoroughly. Back, front, everywhere. And the numbers. And the other reason I just whip it with the air dryer as well is that because obviously I'm using wire wool and little bits of metal will come off, and you know, you don't want them, you know, being underneath the thing. So there's pretty much that dial there. And just pop this sandpaper and stuff out the way. Keep your place tidy. Does help. Right, I'm just going to pop over here. I'm just going to this will probably interfere with the camera, the air dryer maybe. Lower our camera a bit now. I just put it on the low setting. Now as it's drying, you may not be able to see it, but I can sort of see scratching off the wire wool. That'll be okay. Right, so as I said, we have some 0 wire wool, so I'm just going to go over that dial now. I mean, as I say, you know, some people say this is overkill really. I mean, and maybe, but it's the way I do it, and that's it. So I just go over with the wire wool now, and hopefully you should start getting rid of any of these little tiny scratches, and to me it just gives it that smooth effect. Again, it's about, you know, getting it like the back plate, having everything uniform and, you know, looking pretty much as it should. I mean, this is 0 wire. Well, the reason I've gone straight for 0 and not sort of medium is obviously we've used the sandpaper, the wet and dry rather, so it's just a matter now of going. And as I say, you know, sometimes you do these jobs and you do with all good intentions, and then something occurs. I remember I done a dial a good few years ago, and he tried to spray it with something. So anyway, we got all that off, and then we silvered it, and then it reacted, and no matter what, you know. And I got to the stage, I think I must have silvered that dial about 8 times. We cleaned it off, 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 and I thought, and I got to the stage virtually where I thought, you know, I can't, this, you know, I'm not going to get this, there's no way I can get this. And well, the last time, and you know what, it was okay. Like one of them things, you know, you get up in the morning, you're having, you know, and it's the first thing on your mind, I wonder, is that dial okay? And you come into the workshops and you look, and it's God, it's got watermarks, or look like watermarks, got all kinds of problems. And but then at the end, as I say, I was about just to say, you know, can't do nothing about it. You know, it's going to have to be I'll have to get some kind of dial for it. I think, as you can see, that's not looking too bad now. It's looking okay. There's a few blemishes here and there, but as I say, I'd prefer just to spend the time with that, you know, just go round with the wire wool. Let's keep going. I mean, if you'd have to go to, you know, heavier wire wool, do that. As I say, I favour wire wool much more. I mean, I really do, but I've had much better results with wire wool. And I think some of it's down to, you know, you're not using as much water, you know, doing things and that. Wipe over, and what I suggest you do before you do your silvering is get one of these bad boys. We've all got them in the workshop, and just go up and down the numbers and go round and just blow anything out the way. Just try to give yourself the best chance of making it successful, you know, rather than, you know, you get to the stage and you go, oh, do you know what, maybe I should have done that a bit more of me, you know. A little bit of number loss there at the top here, but I mean, literally everywhere else is pretty good, so I may just see what we can do with that. You know, a bit of Indian ink or something maybe, and then lacquer it. I mean, or just maybe, I don't know, we'll see. It's not that we're lazy to do these things, it's just the fact that you don't want to open a can of worms for yourself. You know, you don't want to end up starting with one thing and then you've got loads of problems. I mean, because don't forget, for that tiny bit you've got to use heat, so you know it's going to warm around about the areas of it, so you know you've got to be sympathetic. These are my opinions. These are my opinions. I mean, the only thing I can say to someone is show me a video to do it. I've had the odd comment, so that's what I always say. Get your video camera out and or your phone and show me how you do it. Or come into my workshop and show me. I think that is ready to silver. I think it's looking good. A bit bright in here, and then I'm going to have to do something with these lights, I think. Yeah, but that's looking good, I think now. I think we'll agree. We've got a bit of a mark there I picked up on the camera. Hopefully that won't look too bad. Pretty decent, I think, when it's done. But yeah, there you go. So I think that'll go over there, and that's ready to silver. And then we have all these little situations. So again, very similar procedure. Obviously going to put these, I've actually started a little bit with that one there, but I think, you know, that this is going to really have to have a really good clean, you know, in the water, and you know, do it that way. That will just be pretty straightforward. Pretty certain of that. This little bit concerned because obviously we've got paint, but you know, it's a bit of a softly approach with this one. I'm going to be really careful with this one. I'm not going to go mad because of the paint. I'm going to do it dry. I'm not going to put it in water because I can't see what's going on as well then. So for me, I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to persevere with it. I'm going to, you know, it might take me longer and that, but you know, I'd sooner spend that extra hour, you know, doing it this way than have a real problem on my head of trying to sort out because some of the paint's come off or whatever. Because as I say, you've always got to be aware that these clocks have been, you know, this clock, what, it's 1740, so this clock's probably been around 280 years. Long time. Wish I had a car that I'd run like that. Be great, wouldn't it? You know, all these cars you get that are supposed to be this, that and the other, and then next minute something major goes wrong with them. Okay, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. Again, I just went off here. Right, as you can see, this is quite a lot better now, but I am going to actually you know, go round this a lot better, and then I'm going to do some silvering, and I'm going to do some silvering on the dial on these. Now, I'm not going to do all these dials on video. I think we may as well move it next to you know, getting some silvering done, and then going from there. I think that'll be a better plan, because you know, we can spend hours and hours doing this on these, and as I say, I could get it quicker done off camera, because it does take time to do that. But as you can see, I mean, that's looking a damn sight better than it was anyway. But you know, we're going to get it dead right, because obviously now, you know, the back plate's great, the spandrels are great. You know, we want everything to look uniform. We want it to all look you know, as good as it can possibly be. As I say, I think I mentioned, I'm just going to go over this very, very carefully. I'm not going to start jumping ahead. These videos are all a bit stop and start tonight, because I've had to, you know, stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. So I'm just going to marry them together. So there'll be little jumps and stuff like that. So, you know, and I've been in a moaning mood tonight as well, but moaning about my camera, moaning about my cars, moaning, you know, I've had one of them days, to be fair, where, you know, nothing's really gone right, really. Working on a clock at the moment, that's absolutely driving me up the wall, but anyway, that's another story. Yeah, so as I say, I hope you're enjoying these videos, and as I say, I'm doing me real best with them. This is the end of this particular video. I think we can safely say now we're going to be moving on to doing some silvering work and some lacquering. What I may do is, obviously I'm not going to show you lacquering all the small dials. I'm just going to show you lacquering the big dial, and then, you know, use cream of tartar and go from there, and then hopefully it'll be okay. I sometimes, you know, may leave them overnight before I lacquer them. I just want to see what happens, because the lacquer is sort of the protection, if you like. So I tend maybe to do that, see do we get any marks, because you know, it's a bit more difficult to rub lacquer off and one thing and another. So you know, you're better off, as I say. Unfortunately, with this job, I mean, everything it takes time. It takes time to try and get it right, and there's a procedure. And it's not like, you know, where you put an engine and do an oil change and then that, you know, it doesn't work like that. I mean, we don't know what's happened to these clocks for years, so you know, we've got to take it that there could be real issues with them. We just wouldn't know. But yeah, that's looking better. I'm quite pleased up to now with the progress of the way it's coming on, and I'm you know, I'm expecting a good outcome with this dial. The clock movements, obviously I'll get onto, that's going to be a different set of videos, but what I think I'm going to do, as I've said, I'm going to take the clock movement to pieces. I'm going to talk about it a bit, going to talk about things to look at, you know, what you should do, how you should check them, you know, pay attention to certain things. I mean, with that movements, I mean, there's going to have to be a lot of attention, as I've said in a previous video, to the pinions, because certainly, you know, some of the bushing, it's really not great. But I think what you've got to understand is that these guys, a lot of them, you know, especially in 1740, I mean, these guys weren't, you know, they never had the equipment, they never, you know, again, they're not like us, so I don't sort of say anything about them really. I just say, you know, they were of their time, and they done the very best they could. I mean, it was a natural thing for people then. I think they were, when they were doing something, they were doing it right, weren't they? Let's face facts, they were doing it to the best of their ability. It's not like now where, you know, some firms, they just don't care, do they? It's all about the bottom line and about the money. There's no pride in the work. Anyway, I'm moaning again. I'm in one of them moods tonight. Yeah, anyway, so this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. I hope you enjoy my videos. If you do, can you give me a like, please, and can you please subscribe to me? You know, I'm going to be also doing you know, some of the clocks I own. I'm going to be doing some movies, some bits and pieces on them. So I'd like people to maybe subscribe, and you know, and then all the clocks that I will have up as videos, they're all going to be for sale. but they're all, you know, they're my clocks. I mean, I don't buy clocks to retail out, and I mean, I was going to do that, but I don't. I buy clocks specifically for me that I'm happy to keep, and that way, and I service them and restore them exactly the same as what I restore customers' clocks. So, you know, if you feel, you know, that's another good thing, let me know. As I say, I'm happy to answer any questions if I can, and as I say, everyone have a good evening, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.